So once again, it's BZAC 106 diving the Red Sea. This time on a new boat, the Red Sea Surveyor, a whole 256 tons of her and 35 meters, so possibly a ship more than a boat. Lunchtime. Lunch, like dinner, is always the social high point of liveaboard diving, and the time when everyone comes together. On the Red Sea Surveyor, the food was A1, always too tempting, in fact. Lots of familiar faces, as you can see. There were 14 from the club, plus 4 new friends, Marinina, John, Simon and Andy, which, with a crew of 9, ended with 27 in all. But with a boat or a ship the size of Red Sea Surveyor, no problem. Liz and Maria arriving a little bit late, but that was because they'd been sunbathing on the top deck before they joined us for lunch. The weather was superb, and as always, 106 had managed to pick just the right weather window. No wind, calm seas with a cooling breeze, and brilliant sunshine. So time to digest and think about going diving. This was the whole idea of the trip. Plan your dive and then go diving. They were a good bunch, thoroughly enjoyed themselves, and the spirit's so important when you're on a liveaboard. So here we are, back down bubbling in the wonders of the Red Sea. Absolutely alive with fish and colour. Here's Maria emerging from amongst the coral. Here in the anemone gardens, and anemones around Ras Mohammed, really masses of them. These are living plants of every size, and each clump has its own clan or tribe of clownfish or domino fish. Fascinating things to watch. So from things small and tiny to things huge, the Napoleon wrasse. This is a Ras Mohammed favourite. Huge buffaloes of fish they are, absolutely majestic as they cruise along. Sue was obviously enjoying them, and they were enjoying Sue. This was Sue's first trip to the Red Sea. There's something very endearing about the Napoleon wrasse. Huge, slow beasts with their eyes as you follow them through. The bump indicates the male. They actually change sex, some of them, as they're growing up, so not quite the human method. Andy closing in on his catch. And Peter, obviously astounded by the sight, sinks to his knees in wonder. Well, here's a funny sight. Ian and the crew. I think it's a basic lesson in mass clearing, and that other gesture is all about, I think, organising ration chips for supper. This is the big Titan trigger, showing his jaw muscle stress, pulling out absolute chunks of coral to cover unseen goodies. Ras Mohammed is a great site for passing turtles. You can follow them right up into the shallows. Back on board, and as you can see, huge ribs, plenty of deck space, big boat. Wally of the day. Don't know how young Robo earned his Wally of the day on that particular occasion. I'm sure it was a misunderstanding. So there we were, briefed again and heading down on the Thistlegorm, an absolute underwater warehouse of World War II artifacts. The big thing as you're going down the line is the absolute clouds of schooling silversides. These are tiny anchovies, really small herring fry, and they form huge formations trying to scare off predators, pretending to be a large beast on their own. Then as they clear, all the wreckage opens up. Peter again on his knees, but this time I think with a technical problem. Michael closes in and yep, a little bit of underwater flashing from Michael. So here we are, down in the depth of the Thistlegorm. As we say, It really is a wrecker's dream as you prowl through stacks and stacks of desert rat equipment that never quite got there. Trucks, cauldrons, rifles, welly boots, you name it, it's there. Egyptians at the moment are very, very hot in, I'd call it wreck preservation, and they don't look kindly to things being taken off the wreck. These are boxes and boxes of rifles. Portholes are still intact. I think this is what the Egyptians are aiming for. Here's Reg and Jeanette just puttering along, thoroughly enjoying seeing the wreck. Silverside still performing, and as you can see, the growth on the top deck in the fish life is really fantastic. There's always a current, or invariably a current, on the thistle gone, so you have to hang out on the rope on the way up as a safety factor. Great thing about this boat, as I say, is the fish life. Right amidships where you see the main wreckage, this is where the German torpedo boat struck. A yellow bar angel, first the fish and then our Liz. Liz really was into her diving this time, and here's our friend Maria admiring from above. Passing shots of sailfish, these are lovely things. They really are sort of cousins of the surgeon family. So as you circle through the wreck, you can enjoy them. The blue trigger, another relation to the Titan trigger you saw earlier. Divers cruising by, divers coming out, Andy emerging from deep in the hold somewhere. Big thing on this wreck is wreck silhouettes, as a photographer's point of view. You can cruise inside and look out. Now this was Maria, and she thought she had found an absolute new species of two-headed nudibranchs, only to discover that she'd been disturbing a mating pair. I hope this didn't interfere too much with their future family plans. Spotted groupers, or our version of the potato cod, are everywhere. Biggie's enjoying this artificial reef, and when Maria feels that it's time to go up, finds a ladder, then hangs out on the line. You've always got to watch your time on the way up, and when you're back, get the details in the book. Sea's calm and beautiful, Maria's enjoying. It's a busy wreck, so invariably as the fleet closed in, we headed south. This time we were heading down to the Brothers. This is way down, over 100 miles down from Sharm el-Sheikh, and well out the normal range of a cruising boat. The marker shows you a route. We had gone from Ras Mohammed up the way to dive the Thistlegorm, then this long cruise down. This was marvellous. We had the right weather, the right boat, and a good, friendly, helpful skipper. The Brothers are two islands that rise out from deep down, come up over from, all sorts of depth up. Little points and hammerheads. On the chart is on the dive. Straight down and on Little Brother, you know where you're looking, you'll always see shark. Nice species of the scallop hammerhead. It's not just sharks that have got big teeth around the Brothers. It's an oceanic territory, so you've got these huge groupers coming up. This is the peacock grouper, one of Bob's little brothers. Gorgonia, or tree coral. You can see the size of them. Absolutely spectacular. Huge things of grunts and snappers playing up and down the wall. Soft coral everywhere. And as we say, when you come up on the shallows, moving with turtles, I'd been following this chap a while, and wait till you see what happens. Maranina. Absolute shock of her life when she saw this guy over the top. In fact, Maranina's bubbles nearly gave this guy an embolism, I think. It certainly didn't do anything for his buoyancy. Maranina followed him all the way and was absolutely, so as from then she was called Maraninja. Oops, there goes his tail. Well done, Maraninja. They are beautiful things, and they're quite peaceful if you just give them a minute to settle. Butterfly fish. These are the masked butterflies for obvious reasons. So as I say, the shallows of Little Brother are great places for this. These are bannerfish or flagfish. Now you've got the good old friendly Mori. Big Brother in the background as the ribs head back. Now this is Big Brother. That lighthouse was built by the British way back in the 1800s and hardly been changed since. The big joy of the Big Brother from 106's point of view is the Aida 2 wreck. This is the wreck that went down in 57. She hangs well down the rock. There's all sorts of bits in the shallows, but she stretches from literally 30 metres right down to 70 metres. Solid wreck and well worth enjoying. So that was Bob with an empty bottle, which indicates a lifting bag. The crew happily here. Bill Windridge enjoying himself. You've got to be very careful on this wreck because of the depth, so you've got to keep your eye on your computer. And the sound of little hammers tapping everywhere, that was the thing, as the divers start to head on up here. A little trophy being brought back up by Matthew and John of the crew. Matthew checking it out for its gold content, obviously. Maybe he was doing a repair job and taking it back. Sure he was. So here's our John, John the Virgin, with these hammers at the high port. And he certainly chipped a little bit into the life of the Aida 2. This is still up in the shallows above the wreck, and it's glorious up on top because here you've got the fish life and the wreckage, and it's very, very colourful. That's rolling stock wheels, and the place is alive with fish. These are curtains and curtains of glass fish as against the silver sides and the open. Here's Simon focusing in on some subject, and he's got a very nice lionfish here. The place abounds with lions, and especially at night they come out hunting. Great place to night dive. The Titan trigger moving chunks of coral. What's fascinating here is actually watching the other fish, the opportunists that hang around, and when poor old Titan hunks it out, they nip in smartly and get the bits before he can get back in there. But he seems happy with his lot. Yeah, there he goes, straight inside and out with this. This is a shot right out into the blue, so we lost it a bit. But as we say, there's sharks everywhere. Difficult to identify some of them, but if you spend long enough on Little Brother, you'll always see sharks. So back on board, and that was the brothers' exploration over, and time for the social side. This time we'd invented a new game, and it's called Red Sea Skittles, a good use of the Maccabi beer cans and sweet markers. Graham was a natural referee. I think he gave out 4 red cards in the trip, can't quite remember. So here's Michael. Oh, a near shot, nearly got it there. Maria Reid in the opposite team. How did she do? A wee bit on the short side, but are we going to see a cannon? How about that? Right, that was a scorer. Wee bit of professionalism trying here. Graham, I think, put me off for that, for polishing the bottom of the can. So the competition went on, and they were very loud, very noisy. Lots of beer was drunk. I think it was to try and get through the Maccabi beer cans. Bill Windridge doing a big long effort. Watch this, Bill. Ah well, Bill won the golf competition when he get back, so he can't complain. Robo getting really into it here. Oh, well done, Matthew. So I think that was one of the winning shots. And here's Sarah presenting the trophy to the winning team. That was Matthew, Martin. No, who was it? It was Maria. Where are we? Ah, there they go, doing very well. It was great fun of a night, and this is what it was all about. Dive all day with great people and then socialise at night. Liverboards are wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And Maria finishes with a lap of honour. So we've headed up north again, straight up to the Straits of Gubal. Now this is Shab Abu Nuhas, or what's normally called Seven Wreck Reef, halfway up between Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada. Big thing here is the Carnatic. This is an old favourite. It's a P&O sail steamboat. Went down in 1869, 90-metre job, and she's broken in 2 parts. lies on her side, so very elegant to dive in the ribs. You can dive on the outside, dive on the inside. Here's Michael taking up a very nice concealed spot to do some camera work. Here's Robert, been doing a little bit of archaeological research by the looks of things. Yep, he's uncovered a bit of a pot. Robo closes in on it. I think he missed it, fortunately. And here's Bill, definitely an archaeologist. You can see the care that Bill moves there. Yeah, you can smile, Bill, we're watching you. John Atherton, chip off the old block. And Peter, dear me, he's on his knees again. This time he's managing to... Oh, I wonder if he brought that down with him. Don't think so. Peter's very keen on collecting bottles, so he got some nice specimens on that wreck. What did Maria find? My God, that's not, is it? It could be. There was a lot of people lost their lives on that boat. Must have been a bone, because that's a dog snapper. Maria buried the bone just in case, so we had a little ceremony down there. As we say, the elegance of the Carnatic is gazing up through the ribs. Now how about that? Liz Peacock, who looks absolutely happy and content under the water. Well done, Liz. Anemone fish. They're so colourful with their sort of little clown pyjamas on. As you gaze through, here's Michael closing in on something, and in the inside, another Moray. Loads and loads of Morays tucked into the wreck. This one's a bit shyer than the usual. Here to sort of suss them out. So here's the sailfish in a close-up. Fantastic spots, colours and stripes. It really is a combination. If you can get the Carnatic at the right time, it's absolutely alive with glassfish. Maybe just try and time this when other divers have moved through, and you take your time, you come back in again, and they move through. Literally curtains of them. The yellow bar angel, he's a very pretty fish. When he closes in, you can see he's got a little piggy face, but very attractive. Superb colours. And the clam, they work with cells, so if you close over the top of them, you'll see them over. This is, as I say, the same site, but one of the other 7 wrecks, and this is a Chrysalis K. Chrysalis K is a Greek freighter. Huge bronze prop still in position. Don't know why. Always hurts Bill Windridge to see it down now. And John. It's now turning into quite a nice scenic wreck as the coral growth increases and fish life is definitely on the up. So here's Sue, definitely spaced out. Now try and explain this one to us, Sue. Here she's got a bucket. Now what's she up to? Oh dear me, definitely narcosis in an advanced stage. Maria up on the wheel deck having a good prowl around. That's Reg and Jeanette drifting past. You can see the colour here as Maria admires this piece of wreckage with colour growth. Absolutely beautiful. There's a lot of wreckage spewed all over the place on the Chrysalis K. This is nice. This is the Sohal Surgeon. S-O-H-E-L for those that are interested. Amazing contrast of colour, and the masked butterflies and the Red Sea banners definitely set off. I like the little bat-like face of the Red Sea banner. But, like everything else, as these fish spread around and thoroughly enjoy themselves, I'm afraid our trip from the diving point of view was coming to an end. We've been diving for a solid week. We'd had the best of weather, and this is our last night's celebration. Chef John had really pulled the stops out with Sarah. They had laid on this fantastic sushi buffet before dinner. Loads of booze, loads of sushi. What could you ask better? So a nice way to celebrate our last night on board the Red Sea Surveyor for this particular trip. We're all hoping to be back on there in the reasonably near future. Graham had thoroughly enjoyed himself. He had seen everything he wanted to do. He even got his manta, not in the water, but he got it on the surface. So it was time to drink and plan all those stories of what we had seen and what we had done. They were a great bunch, nice and social, and it was a great week's cruising. Robo, as ever, had been the life and soul of the party. The crew were excellent, really helpful, and they got on very well. The 106 mixed with the crew was excellent. So it was a good spirit throughout. Liz had certainly proven this fact that she is a diver. Doesn't particularly like the wrecks. There was a few comments made earlier that we could have kept. Reg and Jeanette doing a bit of research into some of the dives they had seen. And here we are, wrecked again with 106. Chef John, he really got it right. So we had a few friendly words afterwards and thanked David and Sarah and a really super crew for all their help and good spirit. It's so important. They've got a job to do and we're there to enjoy ourselves. To combine the two is always difficult, but it worked out very well. And our new friends, Andy and Simon and John and Mara Ninja, they blended in great. So all in all, we had a superb week's diving. And that night, as ever, having said all that had to be said and drank a few toasts, and the games went on into late into the night. Doggy Dave got a nice presentation. He won't mind me calling him Doggy, I'm sure. It was all in good spirit. Next morning, Jeanette with a wee bit of a hangover, I think we all had, and it was a matter of getting the luggage up. Here we are, the terrible twosome still sporting, and oh yeah, we'd strapped John to the mast that night, I think, so he was doing his lookout on the way in. Then it's up into Hurghada as we eased off, getting ready to fly. They challenged the German team. Honest to God, if the English football team had this spirit, I'm sure we'd be in the European Cup. So here's the end to it, as Robo rides his seahorse into the night. Red Sea Surveyor, what a boat, what a trip. Look forward to another one.